Let's stick with some international news now. Russia's takeover of Ukraine's Crimea region escalated this week after the US imposed sanctions on 7 Russian leaders. Russian President Vladimir Putin has now signed a decree recognizing Crimea as an independent entity and is expected to finalize its annexation later today.
The Russian president was a picture of calm on Monday, rewarding Paralympic athletes, totally ignoring the flutter his Western neighbors were in. Later in the day, however, he went on to sign a decree recognizing Crimea as a sovereign state. Today, Putin will thumb his nose at the West again when he addresses a joint session of Russia's parliament, formally deciding on the annexation of Crimea. America, meanwhile, took the plunge against Russia by slapping sanctions on 11 Russians and Ukrainians blamed for the secession of Crimea. Though Putin himself was not on the blacklist, White House declined to rule out adding him at a later stage.
Now, I believe there's still a path to resolve this situation diplomatically in a way that addresses the interests of both Russia and Ukraine. That includes Russia pulling its forces in Crimea back to their bases, supporting the deployment of additional international monitors in Ukraine, and engaging in dialogue with the Ukrainian government.
Though the European Union has thrown its weight behind the US, the group is seeking quick de-escalation in the tensions.
Die Außenminister haben uns berichtet davon, dass sich das Treffen der europäischen Außenminister geeinigt hat auf erste Sanktionen im Bereich von Visaverboten und dem Einfrieren von Konten. Ich glaube, das ist eine Maßnahme, die niemandem leicht gefallen ist. Wir haben das nicht angestrebt.
America, miffed at the way its interests were overridden in Ukraine and Crimea, has frozen the arrests of 11 top Russian and Crimean officials. Their travel into the US has also been banned. According to the analysts, these sanctions have very little impact, but they are most comprehensive against Russia since the Cold War ended.
If the administration wants to impose very broad-based economic sanctions, they certainly could do that. Then we have to recognize that there would be a very high risk of retaliatory sanctions by Russia against American companies.
What's troubling the West is the fact that how little it can do to oppose the Russian action in Crimea. The economic integration between the West and the Russian economies is too tough to break, and resultingly military action is not an option at present. And that's what Putin is betting on. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.